Well, for me,
Yeah.
the Olympics was very clear. I think we had. Let's not forget, if you look at India, in 2008 at the Olympics, India wasn't there.
Yeah.
2012 Olympics, India finished 12th and last of all the teams. That is fact. So in 2016, our main objective was to make sure that we were top 8. We were top 8, of course, we managed, but that doesn't mean that we were satisfied. But I think the most important thing was that we missed out a better quarterfinal. In the end, we played Belgium in the quarterfinals. We were even leading in the first half 1-0. So that was still quite good, but the team was not consistent enough in that period, and especially they showed that in the match with Canada. I think the Canada game was the crucial game there. The last game in the league, we draw 2-2. We should have won that game to finish in a better position for the quarterfinals, and I think that is a lesson, and hopefully the Indians took that lesson from there, because sometimes they are already happy with the fact that you make it to the quarterfinals. No, but in the quarterfinals, I try to tell them quite a couple of times, it's important to make sure that your draw in the quarterfinals is the best possible draw. And in the end, having Belgium in the semi-final of the quarterfinals is of course not the best possible draw. That's clear. If we would have won that game, we should have played Spain in the quarterfinals. And we just played Spain twice before we went to Rio, and we had really 2 good games. So for me, that should have been maybe a possibility to make it to the semi-finals. But to be honest, at that time, I don't think that India was good enough yet to win a medal. I always said from the moment I arrived in India that we made a plan, and that plan should finish in the Tokyo Olympics with a medal, and that is still possible. So for me,
one of the biggest threats for everybody is India, I think.
Absolutely, it is. They showed that already in the Pro League with some great matches against Belgium, Netherlands, Australia. So I really think that the team who will play India in the quarterfinals, whatever team it will be, and probably one of the Europeans, they won't be too happy, to be honest.
No.
And the Argentina game, if you can throw some light on the Argentina game, Roelant.
Yeah, well, the Argentina game, if you know, even with Pakistan, we beat Argentina in the Champions Trophy. So for one or other reason, we've chosen the right tactics a couple of times against Argentina. I think Argentina has a certain style of playing, which is for me clear, and also for me it was possible to find the gaps in that, because we won in that game, and also later in Champions Trophy Pakistan, we really deserved those wins. And one of the key things is playing fast transfers. That is one of the key things, and straight after a fast transfer, you have to go as quickly as possible towards their circle. And I think, and of course, you have to do that. It's a very simple way of the explanation, because otherwise it becomes too complicated. But that is the key. You have to find the opposite side for your attack, and then go as fast as possible towards the goal to create your goal scoring opportunities or your penalty corners. And I think that's what we managed well. And at the same time, in Rio, of course, Payet was there as a fantastic penalty corner striker, and they had a couple of corners. First of all, of course, part of the strategy to concede as less penalty corners as possible, but also the way we were defending that. I think the boys did fantastic job in that. So that combination in the end brought us the win.
Okay, I don't chat with you every day, so I just want to make the best of this opportunity. Roelant, in India, we are not coming from a culture where we play 4 at the back. So how difficult was it for you to explain to any player who was playing the free man position? How do you do that? And in your brief experience in India, who had the intelligence to play in that position, the best player to have played in that position of free man in a back 4? Secondly, Roland, I see a lot of books in and around where you are. Your study looks beautiful. What kind of reading do you do? What kind of literature would you suggest for young coaches like me? Is there something on that bookshelf that you would absolutely want young coaches to read? Yeah, okay, I'll stick to two this time. So yeah, go with two.
No, yeah, you have time now to read, of course. Let's start off. Of course, when I started, India was playing more or less 2-3-5.
Yeah.
I like the system that because you won the gold medals in the past, and people still thought that was the right way to do it. So we had to change that. There's no doubt about it. So first of all, you have to convince players, but it was not difficult to convince the players because the players see that every day. If they compete in international hockey, they see how different the opponents are playing, and they want to become the best. So they understood that they had to change. For them was no problem. But then the question is how to change.
Yeah.
And the way to change is very simple. There must be a clear execution on pitch, and that is based on your training sessions. That is based on video sessions, because there's what you're gonna learn. Not only video sessions of your own team, but also maybe from the best teams in the world who are executing it, and people have to learn from it. And of course there is a development going on, and you see nowadays that also in the Indian team right now, I think there are people who really have the quality to play in these roles. And it's not up to me to tell you what I feel exactly about it. That is to Graham to show it in the Olympics. But I've seen, of course, the Indian team for the Olympics, and especially in the defense, they really have a very experienced setup with fantastic players like Harmanpreet, Virender Lakra,
Surinder,
for instance, Rupinder Paul. So they really, Amit Rohidas. So they really have a great defense, and I think that someone like Harman is really someone who can play fantastic in a free role. He has the skills to feed the midfielders and the forwards as well. So yeah, that for me will be one of the players to watch. I'm really curious because I didn't see him for quite some time, of course. I'm really curious to see how he developed. But that's one of the players I really look forward to see at the Olympics.